I've been meaning to make this video for a little while. This is my 1969 Volkswagen Baja Beetle, and I've owned this car for about 2 years, and it's been definitely an ongoing restoration. I had the restoration done after about a year of throwing parts and what time I had into it, and had a bunch of success and a whole lot of failures and a whole lot of learning with it. I went into this project never owning a Volkswagen, and I kind of assumed that it's going to be a simple restoration. It's an air-cooled motor, not going to be a whole lot to it, but it definitely has not been simple. And it's kind of been like one success followed by 2 failures. So, little backstory on this is I scored online for about $1,000, and it was just in horrible shape. And then it went through a year restoration, body off the frame, and not a meticulous back to OE restoration, but just cleaning what's broken and then putting it back together decent and getting it roadworthy. So problems I've had the whole time has been with the motor. So I took out the motor and went with an eBay motor, full-on crate motor, complete with everything, carb, running, turnkey, from that came from Mexico from an engine builder. So I bought that right around the time that I got the bug, and it sat in the garage for like 10 months until the restoration was far enough along that the motor was ready to go in. So put the motor in, had a couple issues with the distributor, but ended up working out the kinks and got it running, and had it running for maybe, I'd say, 3 weeks. And then the motor locked up completely, the bottom end. And I took the heads off, took the cylinders off, and it just would not budge. So something real bad went on in the bottom end. And I kind of had some issues, like I was puking oil every once in a while out of parts of the motor, and I don't know, it just didn't feel right. So long story short, couldn't contact the seller about any issues because I guess enough time went by that he was off eBay, and then could not get a hold of the guy. So ended up getting a whole nother crate motor because I didn't want to deal with an engine rebuild and getting another bottom end. So I went with a whole nother crate motor from this time an engine builder in Wisconsin. And just got that in, I'd say 3 weeks ago, and probably enjoyed driving the bug and having a new motor and everything working great for about a week. And then, like I said, one success followed by a couple of failures. So what ended up happening is I was kind of having an issue of, I guess it was overheating, but I would have a little bit of oil seepage after driving it. And then I broke the alternator belt driving, and I saw it fall off, but then I figured I had enough battery juice to make it to the parts store because I was on the highway kind of far away, didn't want to get a tow truck, and I completely forgot about the cooling fan. So I drove it on the highway trying to get to the parts store in time, and then I overheated on the highway, blew smoke, and engine ran like garbage after that. So couldn't crank it over, and so followed by some serious problems. So I ended up doing a compression test, and here's what I got from the cylinders. 50, 40, 60, and then one cylinder actually had no compression at all. So after owning the crate motor, enjoying it for a week, completely trashed one of the cylinders. So what I'm gonna do is take the heads off, take the cylinders out, take the pistons out, and replace with all new. So I'm gonna go with a little bit bigger cylinder and piston. I think it'll bump it up from a 1600 to a 1640, and follow that up with new cylinder heads, gaskets on the top end, and try to address some of the issues myself. So I'm going to try to solve some issues that were kind of left out during the restoration. One of the problem was I think I'm always overheating. One of the signs is completely burnt off the Stinger paint off the exhaust manifold, and I would always kind of puke oil after driving. So what I'm going to do is plug this heater vent right here, and then put a gasket around the oil cooler because it has a lot of space around it. And then I'm going to try to do something to cool off the cylinders, because I think a lot of the heat's going to be generated in there aside from the oil cooler. And aside of letting, there's so much tin I'm missing off of this because I'm running it basically wide open Baja style. And I assume that, you know, being an open engine bay back here, it'll cool itself easily and wouldn't have an issue. But these things are definitely very sensitive to not having tin, and the cooling is one little change in the air cooling design is causes a lot of problems. So instead of trying to throw in tins and try to make it work without having the rear cover back here, I'm going to add 2 electric fans kind of somewhere behind those cylinders. So I'll have those running cooling the cylinders. I'll still have the alternator fan cooling the oil cooler, and yeah, address some of the problems. Basically see how it goes. So I got to do brackets, get the fans wired up, installed, rebuild the top end, and try to help out some of the cooling issues, and we'll see how it goes.